All right, we're starting right now. You guys asked me in the chat, when are we going to start? Well, we're going to start right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to English for Academic Purposes. I'm your teacher, Joshua. I'm here in lovely Spokane, Washington, United States of America. We are at a little private college where we teach English to students in person every day, and we have a studio here where I get to teach all of you all over the world. So welcome. I got the live chat up here. I see a lot of friendly faces. August is back, hello, and Selma, of course, and Rosa, and looks like we have maybe some new students. Heidik, how are you doing? Is this your first class, or have you seen our class before? All right. August is back. Hello again. And let's see, I'm going to scroll up here. And we have our Arabic student again. Arabic speaker, your name is in Arabic, so I can't read it. And I want to say, I forget your name. I want to say it starts with an S. But go ahead and type your name there. I'll say hello. Is it Khalid? Khalid. Is that right? Heidikai? Is that right? If we're spelling it phonetically, if it's H-I, that's pronounced hi, and then D-E would be D or de, and then Kai. All right, it is Khalid. Hello. Rauf, hello, how are you? Good evening. It's afternoon here. Good afternoon, good evening. I love this because some of our students, it's like good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're all of those times right now, and we're in one class. How cool is that? It's very, very fun. All right. And it looks like, is it Selma or is it the name with the O? Is it Ujehi? Ujehi? Is that right? Hello, though. Either way, it's good to see you. All right. August, I'm your favorite tutor. Awesome. Well, you guys are my favorite students. I get to see you every week. The same names and faces, and some of you have told your friends, and your friends have showed up. It's so fun. Okay, I'm not pronouncing it right. Hidiki? Is it Hidiki? Hidikai? And it looks like, okay, it's Sakura. Sakura, is that right? That's a cool name. So hello everybody. Hidiki. Okay, Hidiki. All right, I think I got it, right? Hidiki, is it good? Give me a thumbs up or a smiley face or something, okay? August, it's night there. Okay, and it looks like maybe Abdullah is asking, what does academic purposes mean? That's a great question. So about this class, English for academic purposes is a class that's great for a lot of reasons. The first reason is if you want to study at an English-speaking university, college, or high school, you can take this class and be prepared to write essays and understand your professors and their lectures, how to take notes. We teach you all about, all right, great comments. They just keep coming in. That's awesome. We teach you all about how to use English in an academic setting. So school, think school. But it's good for a lot of other purposes too. For example, work. If you're working in an English-speaking company or business, what I teach you here is useful also in the business place. So note-taking, it's important to take notes when your boss is presenting about something. It's also important to be able to write and communicate effectively. So a lot of the things that we cover here, I kind of assume that maybe we're going to university or college or high school in an English-speaking place, but I also teach you things that if you want to go into business or you want to just become a better communicator in English, all of this that I teach will help a lot. So that's sort of the idea of the class. You like my accent? Awesome. Well, thank you. I like it too. This is a great place to come study English or to live if you want to practice English. They say that people in the Pacific Northwest, where I live here in the United States, we have the middle accent, like the accent that is most normal or most American. So we're very lucky that we have that. I grew up here. I've lived here my whole life. It's a beautiful place. There's lots of nature, but there's a big city too. So we get professional sports teams and big music concerts and lots of cool stuff. Okay, so it looks like I've done a pretty good job of explaining what this class is about. I'm sure some of you are excited to get started. I will say that, hello to our premium subscribers. I see a lot of you here. And thank you for being here with us. If you're wondering what a premium subscriber is, it's a subscription you can sign up. Your first month is free with no obligation to stay signed up. So if you sign up for a month and get homework back and feedback and corrections and you don't like it, you can always give it up. But all of our students that have signed up have stayed because they love it. You get feedback from me or whoever your teacher is. There's lots of teachers and classes to choose from. You get quizzes and you get a certificate in the end. So you'll get a nice certificate that says you are a Smrt Live trained student and a thumbs up, and we'll also give you personalized feedback. So we'll hang out with you on Google Hangouts and talk about your assignments. We'll grade your essays, things like that. You also you get, if you want more explanation, just ask a question in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm going to take attendance here for our premium subscribers. You get access to all this curricula when you sign up too. So you get to explore the lessons on your own time, and you get to kind of go around and study everything. So if we don't cover something, or if you want more reading practice or listening practice, you get access to all of this here. So I'm going to take attendance really quick for our premium subscribers, and then we're going to go into our lesson. Of course, yeah. You can ask any questions. Rosa's right. Thank you, Rosa, for always being such a good commenter. And if you ask me any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Our topic for today, we're going to kind of pick up where we left off last time. We were talking about paragraph unity, and our topic was just how to put information together in a logical fashion so that it connects. Soimaya, I think is how I pronounce that name. Soimaya. Hello, welcome. Good to have you here. What we've studied so far in this class has been writing skills, listening skills, reading skills, and note-taking strategy. And we've focused a lot more on writing, in part because some of our premium subscribers have asked for more writing practice, and also because writing and reading are very connected in the English language. I've said this several times in several classes, but I think it's so important that students understand that if you read something, somebody wrote it. So they had to take the time to think about how to create that writing and how to deliver information effectively. Absolutely, I'm happy to be patient, and I'll answer any questions you guys have, so keep them coming in the chat. So if you write something down, it's because you have something to say. You have a message. You want someone to understand you. And when we write, sometimes it's just getting those thoughts out of our brain onto the paper, or computer, or whatever we're writing on. And it's never perfect right away. I'll just tell you that right away. When we first write something, always consider it something that you want to edit or to rewrite. We want to write things several times. So we call them drafts. You have your rough draft, which is your first attempt just to get the message from your mind onto the computer screen or onto the paper. And then we look at it and we read it and we improve it. So we say, I didn't really mean that, or I want to include more information about this part. And we've talked in this class about transitions, how to link our ideas together so they flow nicely. We've also talked about paragraph unity, how to create a paragraph where all of the information matters. We learned about Dr. Fleming and his discovery of penicillin, and we excluded personal information that didn't matter, like the name of his vacation house. That didn't matter. But we included personal information that was important, like he was messy and he left the staff dishes, petri dishes out, and that's how he discovered penicillin, because some contaminant got in there. So we've talked about body transitions, we've talked about paragraph unity. Just briefly, I want to go over an essay outline. So we've talked about if we're already writing our essay, but what an outline is, it's our plan to write something. So you know how I said just earlier that if we first write something down, it's usually not great and we have to rewrite it? We can make it a little better if we plan what we want to write in an outline. I have all of my students write an outline. I remember hating to write outlines myself in college. I didn't like it. I was like, I don't want to write an outline. I'm just going to start writing the essay. But now, excuse me for just a moment. So sorry about that. I didn't know my phone was on. It was plugged into the wall and it started to go off. So I used to not like writing outlines, but now that I teach it and I realize the value of it from a teaching perspective, I always write an outline if I'm going to write anything. So, okay. I'm just checking the chat here, see if anybody has any questions. Rosa says, an essay outline is like a hamburger. Yeah, that's an analogy I've used before in classes. I can zoom in. Yes, of course. Salua, hello. Here you go. I'll zoom in a little bit so we can read better. So I'll just read what's written here, and then I'll go into the exercise and we'll talk more about it. So after you've researched websites and articles given to you for your essay, you'll need to choose important ideas you want to use and begin to organize them into an effective outline. This is the most important part of the process because it will allow you to see your whole essay on one page, and you'll be able to check the flow and logical connections between all of your ideas before you even begin creating full sentences. So in outline, we're going to use some of our note-taking strategy when we create outlines. And you don't have to worry about grammar or complete sentences. You just want to get your main ideas out. So keywords, key thoughts. Ko, hey, how's it going? Good to have you. Welcome back. We've seen you lots of times before, so happy to have you here. We're talking about writing, and we're talking about creating an essay outline. So this is for the continued class and some of our premium subscribers who are writing essays. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. We're just talking about, if this is your first class, it's totally cool. We're talking about creating an essay outline and becoming stronger writers. But something I will note for anyone who's out there doing research or writing academic papers is when you search websites, something to keep in mind is make sure your source is credible. And what do I mean by that? A credible source is a source you can trust to give you accurate information. I'm going to ask a question to the chat. Luciano, hello, welcome back. So my question is the news credible? This is going to have a lot of different opinions, I think. Is the news a credible source? Is that something we can always trust to be true? Is the news a credible source? It's kind of a trick question, so go ahead and answer in the chat there, and I'll keep talking about the outline. So it is very important when you search for sources that you find credible sources, that you can trust them, and that they're going to give you accurate information. Because if you use those sources and you use the information, it's your word then in your essay. You're citing sources. All right, good answers. I like what people are saying here. Is the news credible? Selma says, not always. Rosa says, no, it's not. And Sakura says, no, I don't think so. I agree with you. I don't think the news is necessarily credible. They're often owned by corporations, and so they sometimes have an agenda. What I like to tell my students is, if you watch lots of news channels or read lots of newspapers from many different countries and many different perspectives, then you'll have an idea of the truth. But it's still not 100% true, right? So we have to sort of pick sources and choose sources that are most credible, that we can trust the most. And Salua says, Wikipedia is not a credible source. Yeah, normally I would say you're right. Wikipedia is not a totally credible source because it can be edited by your average person. You can be an editor for Wikipedia. I would say it's a good starting point. You can usually find where their sources are linked at the bottom, or to get a general idea about something. But we can't trust it to be 100% accurate or 100% true. It's really hard to trust anything at 100% truth. It's good to ask questions and good to challenge information that we're given. So, I mean, if I ever teach you something and tell you something, I would encourage you to challenge me. If you think I'm wrong, tell me. Say, hey, I disagree. I don't think that's correct. Because I'm human. I'm flawed. I can make mistakes. So think about that as you're researching for any paper you're writing. We want to choose better sources, more reliable sources when we write. And Selma says the news is censored and information, it can be modified. We shouldn't believe all the news. Yeah, don't believe everything you see in the news because it's probably not quite 100%. And sometimes it's not even close. Okay, so here's a pattern. This is one way to do an outline. It's very important you know that there's lots of different ways to do outlines. This is a good way though. So if you are a premium subscriber, you can log in, you can make a copy of this document and write in it. We're gonna just go over this pattern, and keep in mind, we do not use full sentence structure. So this is like taking notes. It's like notes about what we want to write. So they're just notes from our mind that we're getting down on the page. Rosa's question is, can YouTube be a credible source? Yes, it is possible to cite YouTube videos in academic essays. Now, it does take a little more work to research and find out who is the publisher, who is the author of the video. I like to use us as an example. Any grammar that we teach or any English aspect that you find on our YouTube channel is going to be accurate. We have many teachers looking at it. And if one of us makes a mistake, we are quick to fix it. So if you know the source, if it's a trusted source, you can get reliable information. But there's a lot of there's more videos on YouTube that are not credible. So it wouldn't be my first choice in an academic paper to cite a YouTube video unless I had to, unless that was the only place I could find the information. But yeah, you can cite those. And we'll talk about that when we go more into APA formatting and citations, which is coming up soon. Rosa, I know you're excited about that, and you were asking lots of great questions in your homework, so thank you. Yeah, it's like brainstorming. So we break up, I've said this before, when I talk about essays in this class, I'm going to talk about the 5-paragraph essay, 5 paragraphs. It's the easiest way to describe the layout of an essay in the English language. And questions last week were, does a paragraph or does an essay have to be 5 paragraphs? Is that a limitation? No. Some essays are many, many paragraphs, dozens of paragraphs or more. But the reason we say 5 is because it's broken into 5 parts. So you have your introduction, which gives you the basic information of the essay, and it introduces the thesis, which is the most important sentence or section of any essay because it's your main message. Then you have 3 body paragraphs. We think of those as supporting the topic and supporting the thesis. So those 3 body paragraphs are evidence or information supporting your main point. So for example, if I wanted to write an essay that was a persuasive essay, I'm trying to say, hey, students should come to America to study English. So I'm trying to persuade people. I'm trying to say why that is a good thing to do. I'm going to choose 3 main points to support that claim, that message that I want to give. So 1, first body paragraph, I might say, living in America provides immersion. So it allows people to hear and use English all the time, 24 hours a day, if they want. So that would be my main point. And I would maybe look up a statistic, like amount of time that it takes a student to become fluent in English studying in America versus a student becoming fluent studying English in a non-English speaking country. So I would do research, I would find that information, that evidence, and that would support in my first body paragraph. My second body paragraph, I would come up with another supporting argument. I might say, well, there are more native speaking teachers in America. So then I focus on the teachers and I come up with statistics or numbers. And then I would choose a third point. And so you see how we sort of form these supporting paragraphs that prove our point that we're trying to make. They give evidence and details about supporting arguments for our main message, our thesis. So within those paragraphs, we break it down here for you. So you can see this is introduction, so this would be like my first paragraph. I would say the general statement or a hook sentence to try to get the attention of my reader, and then I tell you what I'm going to write about. And be careful with that. Please never write in an essay, I'm going to write about blah, blah, blah. That's a sentence that I cross out of every single student essay I ever see it written in. We don't want to say we're writing about a topic, just say the topic. Studying English in America is important. That's a better sentence than I'm going to write to you today about studying English in America. That's a very weak sentence. So just state your point. Rosa asks, can we use questions in the introduction? Yes, you can use questions. And there are different types of questions we use in essays. Usually in an essay, a question is a rhetorical question. What is a rhetorical question? A rhetorical question is a question that I already know the answer to, but I ask it anyway. Why would I do that? To put the idea in someone else's mind, to make someone else think about the idea, even if they also already know the answer. And here's an example for all of you in the chat right now. If I pose the question, rhetorical question, I don't really want you to answer it. That's what a rhetorical question is. It's a question you ask that you don't want someone to answer. You just want them to think about a concept. If I said, have you ever seen a purple elephant? Have you ever seen a purple elephant? Of course, you and I both know that the answer is no, probably. I doubt you've seen a purple elephant. But what are you thinking about right now in your mind? A purple elephant, right? I've put that idea in your mind simply by asking a rhetorical question. So that is a strategy and a way that we can get our readers, or if you're presenting, our listeners, to think about an idea. We put that idea in their minds by asking a rhetorical question. So I hope that answers your question, Rosa. So yes, you can use questions in any paragraph in an essay, academic essay, and they're usually used in introductions as a hook to grab attention, or as a rhetorical question to get our readers to think about a topic or a concept. Yes, Selma, you are right. Teachers hate when students announce the topic in their essays, but we do want the student to say the topic. We just want them to deliver it by delivering the topic instead of saying, I'm going to talk about blah, blah, blah. We don't like that. And it's not because we think students are bad writers. We just want our students to be the strongest writers out there. If we are teaching English, we want our students to write essays that will change the world, change people's minds about topics, or solve world hunger, or create world peace, something like that. But we only do that through effective communication, and writing is a good way to do that. So Rosa's other question is, can 2 paragraphs for 1 against 1 paragraph for 2 against? Can you clarify your question for me? I'm a little confused as to what you are asking there. And August says, outlining feels irritating to students. Yep, I agree. I never liked outlining. But I will tell you that if you are willing to take the time to outline your essay before you write it, you will be a stronger writer. I can promise that. If we know our plan, it's easier to follow it. If we just try to write from memory and we're going to forget or get sidetracked or include information that's not necessary. So writing an outline is a very powerful way to write a strong piece of writing. So the best way to motivate you is hopefully what I just said, letting you know that if you want to be a strong writer, make yourself do the outline. To this day, I still have to force myself to write my outlines. I have to say, if I don't do this, my essay is going to be weaker. And I don't want to be a weak writer. I want to be a strong writer. So I make myself do outlines that way. Abdullah, I think it's Abdullah. I'm glad you agree with me. Thank you. So this is like our first paragraph here, the introduction, thesis statement. And I generally highlight my upcoming paragraphs. So it's sort of like a transition from the introduction to the body paragraphs. But again, I don't say, I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. I would just say, this is important as well as this and this, whatever my topic might be. Okay, Rosa, your question. In an argumentative essay, it can be 1 paragraph for something, 2 paragraphs against something, or 2 paragraphs against and 1 for. That's a great question. Remember, you're not limited to those 5 paragraphs. The reason I said 5 is because we have our introduction, those 3 body paragraphs, and our conclusion. But really, the body paragraphs can be any number you want. I've actually seen very strong student essays that are only 4 paragraphs. It's an introduction and 2 body points and then a conclusion. I've also seen very strong essays and very well-written essays that are like 20 paragraphs. So you'd start with introduction and then 18 body paragraphs and then a conclusion. It's just going to be a lot longer. You're going to have many points to make. So if you're writing an argumentative essay, I would say ask your teacher how long they want the essay to be. They'll probably give you a page length, not an amount of paragraphs. And then it's up to you how many paragraphs you write. Remember, paragraphs are designed to organize information that's related. So just think about what one argument is to support your thesis, like what one point or piece of evidence that you want to discuss is, and use a paragraph to organize that information. If you have additional points, just add on paragraphs. It would be rare for a teacher to say, please write a 5-paragraph argumentative essay, and I want 1 paragraph to be for and 2 against. It's sort of up to you. What I will say is, if it's an argumentative essay, you probably want all of the paragraphs to be for something, or all of the paragraphs to be against something. You must be careful if you're arguing a point that's very debatable, how much voice you give to the opposing idea. You do want to acknowledge it and sort of say, I understand people feel this way, but that's not how I feel. And then you want to stick to your point and only stay focused on if you're for something or against something. That would be my advice for you. Cheche, is it Cheche or Shishi? Cheche, good morning. Hello. All right, so how many sentences are supposed to be written in a paragraph is August's question. Great question. What I teach my students is no paragraph should be fewer than 5 sentences. And that's sort of my rule for my students. I want to see 5 sentences to create a paragraph. If you are creating big, elaborate, compound, complex sentences, maybe you could get away with 2 or 3 and it would still look like a good paragraph. The length of the paragraph is really how much you want to talk about one idea or one supporting piece of evidence. But a good just sort of number to keep in your mind is a good paragraph should probably have at least 5 sentences in it. How long it should be is a question of if you're staying on topic or not. Make sure if your paragraph starts to get like half a page, you look at it and you ask yourself the question, am I still talking about the same subject? Am I still making the same point? You might want to break it up a little bit. Rosa's question, what do we exactly include in the thesis statement? Like if we're going to talk about causes in the body paragraph, should I include those reasons in the thesis statement? Great question. Yes and no. Generally, the thesis statement does not include the topics of the body. So here you see we have three main bits of information in our introduction. We have our general statement, which you can think of as essay topic. Like what are you going to talk about specifically? But generally speaking. And then you have your thesis, which is your main point. And then you have sort of previews of your argument. So I teach my students to actually put the thesis statement as the last sentence of their introduction paragraph. So for example, a very, very simple English essay, I might begin with, let's say I'm writing about, I don't know, I want to argue that war is terrible, right? It's a very weak essay topic because it's so general. But I want to say war is a terrible part of humanity. That's kind of a hook, right? War is damaging because it creates poverty, hurts human life, and destroys society and culture, right? So those 3 points. So you can kind of preview and know what my body paragraphs are going to be about. And then my thesis statement is going to be a strong opinion, something like, we must end war now. Like it's a strong statement, right? I use the modal must. We must end war now. So that's just off the top of my head. I can send an email and maybe create a stronger introduction example paragraph for you. But we would preview our topics for the body paragraphs, and we would end probably on our thesis statement separate from that, its own sentence. And that would be our strong opinion, our main message of our essay. Great question, August. What is the difference between the general statement and the thesis? Okay. And oh, it's your first class, it looks like. Che. So hello. Thank you for joining us. So to answer August's question, what is the difference between a general statement and a thesis? The general statement is our main topic, but it's not our main message. So for example, my previous attempt at an introduction, my topic is war is bad, right? But it aligns with my message, but my message is we must end war now. That's a different statement than war is bad. Saying war is bad does not call action. It does not command any action. It's just making an observation, right? My thesis usually calls for action. It's my main message, but if I'm writing my main message, it's because I want some change to happen. So we must end war now is my thesis. My topic, my general statement is war is bad. Does that help a little bit? Hopefully. Okay, Luciana, hello, welcome. It's okay if you're late. We're happy to have you. Wow, time is going by very quickly today. So our introduction has our general statement, which is our topic, our thesis statement, which is our message, and then it introduces our points to our body paragraphs. So this is what a body paragraph would look like. It would be our first point, which will have a topic sentence. And remember, transition sentences will go between body paragraphs. So it'll have our topic sentence, which describes what we're going to talk about in our paragraph. So by the first sentence, you should know what information is going to be included in that body paragraph. And this is a reading strategy as well. If you're studying and you have to read a lot of information, you can usually read the first sentence of a paragraph, or maybe sometimes the first two sentences, and get a general idea as to the information that's contained inside. So if you're taking a test like TOEFL or IELTS and you have to search for information in many paragraphs very quickly, you can look at topic sentences, the first sentence of a paragraph, and understand what information is probably contained in that paragraph. Marcelo asks, and hello, by the way, can we join one paragraph with the next one? Do we just change the point? Yes, you can join paragraphs. So it might be the same point and you have enough information to talk about the point from two different perspectives. So you might separate that into two different paragraphs. If you watch our last class, or 2 classes ago, we talked about body transitions, body paragraph transitions, and how to make those effectively in your writing. So yes, you absolutely can span one topic in multiple paragraphs. You'll just want to connect those with good transition sentences. Neza says, should the general statement conclude just one sentence? So I think you're asking if the general statement must be only one sentence. No, not necessarily. When we're talking about the simplest form of a 5-paragraph essay in English, I usually tell my students, okay, 5 sentences in each paragraph, your topic sentence, supporting sentences, and then your conclusion sentence or transition sentence. But you might spend a couple sentences talking about your topic or your general statement. Sometimes you want to grab the attention of the reader, so you'll pose a rhetorical question, or you might want to state a fact, or you might want to quote someone or some piece of information. So sometimes you'll use percentages, numbers, figures. So I would say your general statement can span several sentences if you want. But a good rule is to just remind yourself or ask yourself the question, is what I'm writing important for this topic in this essay? Does it support my thesis? You have to introduce the idea of the paragraph, but we want to use every single word to deliver a powerful message. So just keep that in mind. It's sort of a balance between being entertaining as a writer, making our writing interesting, something that somebody wants to read, and also only including the most important information. So you don't want to bore anybody, but you don't want to leave out important details either. So it's kind of a balance. Okay, hopefully that answered everybody's questions. Rosa asks, can I start by writing body paragraphs, then the introduction? Yes, absolutely. In fact, it sounds kind of crazy when I tell students this. They always stop and say, what? But I often say that the introduction paragraph should be the last paragraph you write of your essay. We oftentimes don't know what we want to say till we're already saying it. That's why the outline helps. Oh, sorry. That's why the outline, forgive me, the outline is helpful because it lets us plan out what we want to talk about. But when we actually write our essay, Sometimes we'll start with the body paragraphs, our support, because we know what our thesis is probably. And sometimes you don't know exactly how to word your thesis. You know kind of what you want to say, but by the time you're done writing your support, your body paragraphs, you'll have a stronger thesis. So if you do write it, you should revisit it and look at it and possibly edit it. Or you can just save it for the end once you know how to articulate your main message. Luciano says, is there a limit of lines to write it? It depends on the assignment. Like if we're in school, your teachers will usually give you parameters for the essay. They're usually page lengths. So they'll say, I want a 4-page essay, a 5-page essay. But the amount of lines, not really. A paragraph should probably be not longer than half a page. That's a pretty long paragraph, but sometimes they are. So it really depends. Okay, so this is what the body paragraphs will look like. They'll be our main topic and then support, our details and the source, which we'll talk more about for APA formatting, and then analysis. Analysis is where we cite a source, so we give information, but then we analyze it. We say our thoughts about it. And we're going to talk more about this in detail later on. Yes, Rosa, we're going to talk about quotations. We're actually out of time for today, so I won't be able to go into it because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to skip through it very quickly because quotations and how we make APA citations and quotations is going to be basically a whole class. So please be patient. I promise we'll talk about it in detail, and I'll try to do that class sooner than later, but I want to prepare it for everyone and give lots of great examples. Okay, and John wrote an essay recently with a couple long paragraphs. Go ahead and email it to me if you want some information about it. I'd love to take a look. So I do have to go. Class time is just about out. We have to end just a little bit early today. But please come back again. Tell your friends. Review this information if you are a premium subscriber. And if not, you can sign up. If you go to, let me find the website for you really quick. I will share that in the chat. I should have it memorized by now, but it's smartenglish.com/live, I believe. And I'll copy and paste it in the chat really quick here for you. But if you're a premium subscriber, we can get you feedback on your essays. You'll get a chat with me one-on-one. And there's the website right there. And thank you, August. I am your teacher. I wish I was at your university too. That'd be fun. And maybe come visit our college here in America. If you guys want information about the school where I teach at, just go to usa-english.com. And there's lots of great, oops, not that one. There's lots of great information there for you. English.com. And you can apply online, sign up. This is my college here. USA-English.com. We're in Spokane, Washington. I'm in a studio right at the top of these stairs here. So thank you so much for being in class. And come back on Tuesdays and Thursdays, same time. I'll be here, happy to teach you. We'll work on more writing. And Rosa, don't worry, we are going to go over APA formatting and talk about how to insert quotations and citations in our essay. So thank you so much. Thank you, Selma. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions, just